Uh, a very good evening to everyone. My name is Harpal. I am the Senior Student Counselor at Advise International. So today we are doing this live. As you all know that we at Advise have initiated these live sessions on FB and Instagram. And today we are just doing an Insta live. And it's a very interesting session that we're going to have today with one of our ex-alumni who have studied from Canada as well as settled in Canada and got his permanent residency just last month. We'll also have a question and answer session at the end of this whole discussion. And you can shoot your questions. Well, we'll have questions with our student named Chintan Joshi, who will be soon joining us. So first, let's talk about Canada as a country. I know most of the Canada aspirants are pretty much aware of what Canada is for them. So just a quick overview about the country. It's the second largest country in the world with a population of 36 million people. 36 million plus might look a little big or much higher compared to other countries, but if you will just Google search, you'll understand that Canada, being the second largest, having a population of 36 million plus, just has a population of 36 million, but 70% of the Canadian population are people who are above 60 age, which means they have an overaged population, and being the highest in aged population, they need young youth in the country, they need people coming in, and that's why Canada has the most best, or say the most feasible settling down options when students looking or seeking for higher education. Talking about the education in Canada, they are globally recognized. The credentials of the degree are pretty much worldwide recognized. They have options just starting from diploma till doctorate, depending on what grade or degree percentile we hold in India. And being a very highly multicultural country, it's much more easier for students to settle down abroad in Canada. Talking about the degree options that student can look in when it's coming down to Canada, anyone who's done a bachelor's in India and undergrad degree in India can look for the postgrad diplomas or the master's or PhD degrees if in case you're done with your PG in India as well. The recent updates with the Canadian government that will make everyone happy is the government says if a student takes, because of the COVID-19, the current situation, difficult with students who can travel, but the government has come up with a very feasible option for everyone, which says that any student who takes 50% of the studies, or say one semester being in India online and the rest 50% being in Canada, they still get the post-study job search visa. And even if the whole study has to go online, because we really can't predict with the COVID-19 what the situations are going to be in future. So if in case the students will have to opt to or will have to go complete study online, you still get the post-study job search visa. So this is something really very, very interesting and feasible for all the students. Some students might definitely think that, okay, I'm paying a very huge fees and then being studying from India, definitely it looks little slightly difficult. But what I would say is that you're going to save your money on your traveling, because anyways, even if you go there, if your course is online, you being in Canada also will have to sit in your accommodation and study online itself. There's nothing that you can do by going on campus, because if your course is online, you have to do the study online. So we would say that save your money on traveling, save your money that you're going to spend there on your living, footing and accommodation. So that's the kind of money that you save here being in India, and that way you can get a Canadian degree as well and enjoy the perks and benefits of the post-study work as well. So yes, the rules are still same, 1 + 1, and 2 years degree still gets a 3 years of post-study job search visa. Now talking more in detail about how the work looks, how, what, when you can do, we have Chintan Joshi here from Canada, and he'll give you more updates. Just a second, I'll put him in the live video. Hold on, view. A request to be in my live video. Can you please accept that?
Hi, good evening, Harpal. How are you today?
I'm doing good, Chintan. How are you?
I'm doing good as well. It's been a
Okay,
long
so
time.
it's been a long time, and yes, being in constant touch, it feels really good. So
Absolutely, absolutely. Yes.
just to quickly introduce everyone, Chintan Joshi is a student who's gone through advice, and he's been doing really great there. So Chintan is here to firstly thank you, Chintan. I know it's 5:30 a.m. in the morning, and you've taken out, you've put your sleep and really given us
No,
this
no,
kind
it's
of time. Thank you so much, and
my
we'll
pleasure.
have certain questions. We would want to know your complete journey right from the
Absolutely.
start we met on day one till today. So please introduce yourself and we'll take further questions accordingly.
Okay, thank you so much, Harper. So essentially, I started my journey 5 years ago. I would say, and it's been almost 5 years now. 2015 August is when I first arrived in Canada, and I'll just give you a background of the process before as well. Um, uh, Beginning of 2015, I'd gone to advice, and I'd met Harpal man there for the first time. We discussed different we discussed different options, and I was always planning on going to Canada. I'd gone to some of their fairs as well, and I got to meet a lot of other college entities who'd come there and who had their stalls up, and who were giving out information. So it was very helpful, and advice who've got extremely good. Wonderful advisors like Harpal. I was able to get the right advice. The visa process was very, very smooth because generally you have to gather all these documents together, and then you got to put them under one profile and submit them. Sorry. And that way you don't really have makes life much easier. So
Yeah.
starting about my journey, my visa got approved. Everything went very extremely smoothly, and thanks to Harpal ma'am. And then I started my journey in August 2015, but end of August when I first came to Canada. Extremely beautiful country. I landed in Vancouver. I started my post-bachelor diploma in finance at Thompson Rivers University, which is in Kamloops, so which is about 3 hours from Vancouver. So I started my degree there. I did it in 2 years, as the course was designed that way. And I also did some part-time work as well while I was completing my degree, which was very important. And this is something I would really tell all everyone on the call that was watching me is getting Canadian work experience is very important. It's nice to have. It's nice to go out and come in here and study. But if you can get some good quality work experience while you are completing your degree, it makes a huge difference, especially when you're
I
going through
agree.
professional jobs. After you complete, they do look for references, and sometimes Indian references come handy. But of course, if you've got Canadian recommendations, and if you've got Canadian past employers who are able to vouch for you, getting into professional jobs really makes a huge difference. And
Absolutely.
so basically, I did a number of jobs. My first job was, as I'll say, uh, every no job is big or small. I've started off as a dishwasher at a chain restaurant. From there, I went up, did other jobs as well. I started working for a hotel, where I did accounting and tax work for them and auditing work for them. And once I finished my degree in 2017, I then gave my licensing for banking in Canada, and
Okay.
also then started working as a financial advisor for Canadian Imperial Bank of Commerce. And I did that for a year and a half, in which I applied for my permanent residency. Gathered all my documentation, prepared for my English language testing, and then also went on to get my permanent residency. And since last May, I've moved on Vancouver Island to Nanaimo, and been
Mhm.
working as an investment specialist and financial planner. So that's
Okay.
that's been my so that, that's a short version of my
That's a very
story,
short
my
version of
background.
what,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
practically we know what you have gone through and been at the place that you're right now. So just quick in detail, because you've taken a 2-year degree, because you've done a
Yes.
postgrad diploma in finance with the Thompson Rivers University. How feasible it is, for a student to, would you suggest they should come in for the 2 years degree, or they should take a 1+1, which helps later in a 3 years of post-study job search visa? How would that?
Uh, in my opinion, I quite like the 2 year idea, because what happens is once you're enrolled, then you don't have to re-enroll, and or the 1+1, and
Absolutely.
in just one shot, like there's no you don't have to double register, and then it just saves you time on
True, true.
getting onto the other courses. So, but then because you've got to mix and match and see if you're doing 1+1. So for
Hmm.
me, the 2 year just went great, and then I were in my opinion, I think going for a 2 year and getting a 3 year work permit is, in my opinion, works the best, because at least once you, and especially because we are in the middle of a pandemic, uh, jobs definitely take a little longer. I'm not There's still jobs in Canada, and there's a lot of vacancies, but it takes slightly longer than usual.
Okay.
So it's nice to have that time on your work permit, to be able to
On a
apply. So
safer
3 years
side,
works well.
basically.
Yes, absolutely.
On a safer side. Okay. How difficult was it, to get your first job? Because we know it's a completely different culture out there, and people who really don't, because we here in India really don't see this dishwashing jobs or maybe the KFC jobs as a really highly graded job. So, how easy or
Absolutely.
difficult was it for you to, or what the trick that you used to get your job first?
In my opinion, honestly, you've got the biggest one was you can apply through online websites. But
Mm-hmm.
again, that depends on it also, you've got to add some of your past experience in India as well. If you don't, I would just recommend you can go down to different locations, like you can go to McDonald's, you can go to Tim Hortons or to coffee shops, or also to KFCs, and just apply in hand. Just give out there, go there, give your resumes. The people are more than happy to accept them, and
Yeah.
they're always looking for workers. They're always looking for people to work. So it's not very difficult, unless there are not a lot of employers, and then you've got a lot of students. But generally, you will get a job. Like it's not. I don't think it's that difficult getting your first part-time job. And I'll get to the professional bit as well later.
How is the study pattern when we see, because you studied your bachelor's from India and then you
Yes.
went on to study in Canada. So what is the study pattern difference, or what are the kind of difficulties all the engineering student will have to really face in terms of the different study patterns as such?
So, in my opinion, I think to some extent, like, the content is there's a few things which are, I think, similar to what we do, but there are a lot of other things which are very very different as well. Like especially when we have to do live projects. We also, for a lot of courses, they will ask you to do projects. They'll ask you to have papers and submissions, and uh, which I think what I've done in my bachelor's degree. I have done a few, but the intensity when you come out here is at a different level. The quality that they expect from you and the quality of work is extremely. It has to be of extremely high superior quality when you're
Very
submitting stuff out here
very true.
to your professors. So I think that's
So you
that's the
really wouldn't
important crux.
say, sorry, you
Yes.
really wouldn't say the students should take it as easy as it is in India. So they should.
No, you should take it. I mean, I'm saying keep your time. Once you do, if you're not able to take 6 courses in one semester, you don't have to. You can take 4 at a time, or you can take 5. You don't
Mhm.
necessarily have to finish your courses in 3 semesters. You can take the fourth one and comfortably
Okay.
do 4 semesters. Yeah, but whatever you do, do it well, so that you then it just makes life easier for you.
Oh, perfect. So I think this is a very good piece of information that I think everyone who's watching live has got, that,
Yeah,
the way he's explaining, or even, Chintan, I would share your contact with my students who would really want to.
absolutely,
And guys,
absolutely. I'm
also
more than happy.
to give you a quick information, Chintan works with CIBC. So the procedure that we normally do for the Canadian visa, we need to keep a certain amount in your Canadian bank account, that is GIC. There are three banks who's authorized to do so. That is Scotia Bank, then it's CIBC, and then it's ICICI. Since Chintan, my student, is already in CIBC, he's been very, very helpful for all the students. We've got very good feedback about him. So if anyone who's looking to open a GIC account, can approach Chintan, and he is, trust me, on toes when you get in touch with him. And really, thank you, Chintan. You've been very helpful with my students as well.
Thank you so
Also
much.
want to know how good are the lecturers or professors when it comes to being on a one-on-one, when understand things there, because it's a completely different pattern altogether. So how easy it is to approach your professors in terms of when you're not understanding things, or suddenly there's a different culture shock. So what tip would you give on this?
So number one, I would say is, when it comes to one-on-one, so I'll just give you a general idea of the classroom. So
Yes, yes.
basically, uh, in some cases, when I was doing my bachelor's in India, I had about 150 people in the class, and when it came to Canada, when we were doing when I was doing pure finance courses, we were approximately about roughly 35 people in one class. So what it did was, the professors were able to focus much well on each one of us, because there are not a lot of us in class, and they had different sections as well.
Right.
And that way, if you had any doubts or something, you can, and professors are always open to
Very
you
helpful.
meeting them after classes as well. And if you're not doing well at a subject, if you're finding something difficult, they also had uh, uh, classes later on. I would say, like, it's sometimes you get additional classes by other professors as well, just so that you can perfect yours. So they've got a lot of options out there. You can decide to ask for help, and help will always be provided. They're more than happy to help you out if you're not understanding, and that's the whole crux of it. I mean, you want to get educated, you want to make the most out of it, so you will get help. Absolutely, one-on-one is done on a very regular basis out there.
Sounds really good. Also, quick question on how it is when it comes to searching the full-time job, because you've gone from stage zero to where you are today. So,
Yes.
what tip would you give when it complete your degree, and how you impress an employer?
Now, there was one aspect. Now, before you look at getting full-time jobs in your particular field, just a heads up to all the students is, know which designations are required, or know which, if you need to give any sort of preliminary exams. Like, for example, for banking, I had to give what was called as Canadian Securities course in order to be able to
Okay.
get a job at the bank. So I had gathered this sort of information before, actually, which is about to graduate. I already started studying for that exam, and then just once I graduated, I ended up giving it, and then usually after I've been about 2 months, I got a job. I'm not sure what the scenario right now is with COVID. It is a little lengthier. It is a little time consuming, but just before you get your jobs, just try and look out, go out and see if you need to give any additional exams, or do any additional courses. And I think there are a lot of jobs out there. You just have to keep looking,
Absolutely.
you have to keep applying, and you have to
Absolutely,
be at
because
it.
it's a country which has a number of job opportunities, kind of population
Absolutely,
that we
absolutely.
is very less. So they definitely need people.
Absolutely. There are a lot
So,
of, and the other thing is also that a lot of people are retiring in Canada. The average age of a Canadian is almost 44, 45. So in about next 10, 15 years, expecting a huge chunk of people to
absolutely. That's the
be
reason they are very easy go when
retiring.
it comes
Yes,
to settling down options. Good.
absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely.
Okay. So I know every parent who's sending their students out there abroad, any country.
Yes.
So we just parents are more concerned about the safety. So would want to know, have you ever faced any such incident? But I know it's a highly multicultural country. I've myself been there. I've met you there. I've never felt anything, where I would feel a little insecure. So have any such incident with you or anyone who, have faced where you would feel, not safe
So
ever? And
when I
what
was
the
in
tip would
like
be to, avoid yourself from such situations, if in case
okay.
any?
So, never really come across. I've never felt threatened, or any, or I've never felt like my life was under danger, or I should be not in the situation. But there are certain areas in certain cities, like, if you look at Vancouver, there's a place called East Hastings, where there are a lot of people who are, unfortunately, there are a lot of homeless out there, and unfortunately, they are doing a lot of narcotics, and some stuff happens in certain cities. So there are certain, as long as you keep yourself away from certain streets in certain cities, I think you should be fine. And it's a multicultural society. People are very accepting, very welcoming to you.
Fine.
So the like, I've never come across any sort of discrimination anywhere, and I don't think I will. So I think it's been a great journey, and I honestly, even if you do come out, you always have the odd bad apple here and there in every society. So I think, and that
Absolutely.
that happens. So, but never happened to me. I don't think it'll ever happen. And yeah, it's a very very safe country. It's when you look at, so even if you look at, it shouldn't be a
Uh,
problem.
Too early for everyone who's yet looking to pursue their education. But what, in terms of the permanent residency, would you suggest? How you should go about it? Do they really need to think of a PR? Because most students have this question, "Ma'am, PR milta hai ya nahi?" So
Okay.
kindly guide a little bit so that it's a little easier for us as well to
So,
understand.
one thing I would definitely say, though, this is my personal experience. I didn't use an immigration lawyer or a consultant for my PR process. I did
Lovely,
the entire process myself. So, I've
wonderful.
known the
So
challenges,
students
and
can
from
approach you now. So
maybe I'll open up a consultancy myself. Just kidding. So,
lovely, lovely.
so one thing definitely is, if you're doing an MBA in Canada, great. You don't need to evaluate your Indian education. But if you're doing a post-bac, or if you're doing a one-year course, the one thing which I didn't know before I came to Canada was getting your Indian bachelor's evaluated through WES or
Yes,
through IQAS. Yes, that is very important. What I mean by that is, when you apply for your permanent residency in Canada, once you've got the education and the work experience, you
right.
also get points for your Indian education as well. So what it
Absolutely.
means is that you can use that towards your permanent residency, because that's your highest degree and that's your highest form of education.
Absolutely.
Now, the thing which I missed out was I didn't get my degree evaluated before I went to Canada. And then while I was doing the process, I was told that I had to get it done. So that way it was
A
a
little
bit
bit
challenging.
one tough step for you when you started your
Yes, it's one
procedure.
of the steps. Yeah. But
Mm-hmm.
it was very important. That's one of the steps which actually led to the delay of my application.
Yeah.
And also the other thing is, preparing. You have to give your IELTS again as well. You have to give general. Just to let everyone know, go prepared.
Right.
Uh, it might be just English, and we're all comfortable speaking English, writing, reading. But I would still suggest, give your time, put in a month or two, study, and
Right.
then go for it. Right.
Yeah.
So, so I think with that, I did, and then of course gathering other documentation. There's a list. Um, it
Yeah.
was a bit challenging. There
Mhm.
was there were occasions where certain entities had lost my documents, which I had to resubmit. So it was a few issues here and there, but apart from that, the process was very smooth. The immigration was very very swift when it came to that. I know there are a few backlogs these days because of COVID, and then of course
Right.
they don't
Right.
have a lot of stuff at the moment on hand. But the process was very smooth once I ended up sending in my application.
Mhm.
There were four nervous months, before I got my paper.
No,
Once I got it, it was a beautiful feeling, and it
I know.
felt like a huge weight had been
Definitely,
taken off. Yeah.
definitely when we guide a student, because I remember the day when we met, and until today everything looks on paper, and as you've done it, it's
Yes.
exactly the same, but they're going to be certain, because practically when you do it, they're going to be hurdles, they're going to be these moments which you said, 4 months of really sad times, when there will be such times. But I think you've really done well. And what tip I want you to really give one tip to students that they should religiously follow when they come to Canada, or when they're
Okay.
thinking to come to Canada.
Number one, I would say, when it comes to coming, of course, study hard. Try and have a work-life balance. You do have 20 hours. You do have 20 hours to work. Get some work experience as well. Get good references, and just look out. Just get as much information as possible. Uh, Socialize. Get out there. Go for events. Be part of clubs. Get yourself out
Very
there, right?
important. Very
Because
important.
networking is going to be a big factor for you to get your final jobs, like once you graduate, your professional jobs.
True. True.
And don't underestimate the cold. It is cold out here. So
I definitely tell my students Indian sweaters are of no use there.
no,
So you go buy
I
some.
know. I'd gotten some warmers from India. Didn't work at all. And of course, when you come out here, buy winter shoes. Don't be overconfident like me, and don't walk around in a Nike sneakers. You will slip and fall. So,
Okay. So thank you so much, Chintan, for quick
my
information. Now we
pleasure.
have
My
certain
pleasure.
questions from some students. There are very less
Okay.
number of questions that I see on, and I'll just quickly read out you for you.
Okay.
There's one someone who is a MAK 0_6. He's asking, do we have an option? A very funny question. Do we have
Yeah.
an option to buy a degree there? So,
Buy a degree. No, I've never heard of that.
not a
Uh,
degree as such,
no.
right?
I wouldn't recommend that.
Okay, so MAK, there's no degree buying option in Canada. So there's another question from Hardik. Thank you, Hardik, for your question. Which is the best city for studying engineering and live in? But he's done, Hardik, Chintan's done his finance course, but I don't know, Chintan, if you have any idea on that.
Uh, I mean, the two big cities I would say I would say so there are actually three I would say. There's one is Montreal, but I would generally recommend that only if you know French and if you're very fluent with that.
Mhm.
But apart from that, I would say Vancouver and Toronto are two cities where if you're doing engineering, they've got some very good colleges and universities out there.
Absolutely.
And
But
between the two, I would say Toronto.
yeah.
Toronto would be it.
Okay. A quick information, as you said, Montreal. Just for all the students to know that the Montreal government spends when you go there and learn French. They pay for your complete French thing if you really want to go there and learn French. So that
Absolutely,
is
yeah.
one additional advantage if you want to go there and learn French and be in a city where you're gonna get good jobs in engineering. So Hardik, that's your answer. It's Toronto, Vancouver, and Montreal. Okay, so there's another question again from MAK. He says, is it possible for us to do settings during examinations in Canada? MAK, you
So
really need to work very hard on your on your studies, because these are kind of questions that you you should only do such things in India, nothing in Canada. I think. Chintan, what do you say?
do not try to especially don't try to buy a degree. If you submit falsifying or if you misinterpret data, you can get banned from Canada. Do not try to do anything while you're studying. Teachers are very particular. You will be kicked out of the course, and you could get kicked out of the university as well if you're found cheating or
Yeah, right, right. So
falsifying information.
plagiarism is
Plagiarism is
something
another again,
good.
when you're writing reports, use your own words, and if you're using someone's phrase, you
The
have to
credit
mark it as
thing.
in yes, you have to give them credit for that. So uh, be very, very careful that way. Yes, very, very
Perfect.
important.
Sounds good. There's another question from IM_M786K. Hi, could you please elaborate on GIC account? I just joined. Who better than Chintan? Chintan, please elaborate on
So I would just say you can go on cibc.com, ISBO. So that's the department of my bank which actually handles new GIC accounts. And then they will run you the whole website will run you through the whole process, and if you have any questions, you can always get my contact through Harpal, and I can always help you go through the entire process as well. So
Definitely.
it's very straightforward. So cibc.com, and you can search it on Google, and you can say ISBO, International Student Banking Offer CIBC, and you'll be able to get the link to the website.
Right. Thank you so much, Chintan.
My pleasure.
Imran Khan has asked how much is the monthly expense. Okay, before Chintan gives an overview about how the monthly expense would look, a very simple thing. It completely depends on a student's living style as well. Now, there are students who get $14, they still save, and there are students who get $20 and they still don't save. So it will depend on the student's living style. But Chintan, I think you still, since that you're living there, you know what and how a living expense looks like month-wise.
Okay, so there are again number one, which city you're in. Kamloops was a slightly smaller city, so of course expenses were lesser. So if you're in a smaller town, small city, your living, especially rent, will be much less. So I would say rent can work anywhere between $450 and $900 depending on which city you're in. If you're in
True.
Vancouver, Toronto, of course it's going to be a bit more expensive. The other
True.
thing is also food. If you are taking out, if you're buying food outside every day, if you're ordering food, it's going to be extremely expensive, very, very expensive. So I would say is before coming to Canada, learn how to cook, and try and cook stuff yourself. and it'll make it cheaper. I would say groceries can run up to between, like my groceries were about 300-350 a month, and my rent was approximately 550 about 3 years ago. So I would just add another 50-100 bucks, and you can manage all your expenses up to, I think, about $1,500 a month comfortably, because you have to buy other stuff as well. And
True.
if you live within your means, 1,200 is possible, but I wouldn't recommend it. Otherwise, you're not left with any quality of life. But and again, the other thing is insurance. When it comes to car, when you're buying a vehicle, if you have a car, your expenses go up even more, because what happens is insurances, especially when you are an international driver, is easily 200, 250, $300 a month. And again, if you're in a big city, it's more expensive. So before you buy a vehicle, just see what the insurance is, how much it's going to cost you, and whether it fits your budget, and whether you have the money to pay for it. So
True, absolutely true.
budgeting yourself is very important, I feel. Yes.
Okay, so thank you for the answer on that quick question. Darshan is asked here, is it too late to apply for May 21? No, Darshan, May is just started, so you can pretty much start your applications now for May 21 intake. Not so late, but if you still keep thinking, it's going to be late. So please start. Okay, so next question is, do universities accept PG credits when applying for the masters after PG? Chintan, do you have any idea on that? Because I don't think you've yet started for your masters applications as such.
I haven't, but I think bachelor's, once you do, you can absolutely apply for a master's in Canada. I'm not sure about this answer. I think Harpal would be the right person, because I'm not sure about
Yes,
that.
you can apply for your credits definitely, because when you take a particular degree or a credential from Canada, there are certain subjects, if they match with your master's subjects, yes, you can take the credits, but then your duration obviously goes down. But if you've taken a PG already in Canada, then you can jump, for your further studies for masters, leaving off the credits that you've already studied, and then only pay for the ones that you really need to study further. So yes, credits are pretty much possible. Okay, so I have completed my intern in 2017 MPC stream from Hyderabad. I don't know, Mac, what's your complete question? Let me see, any more questions? I have completed my master's from India, 1 year PG diploma. I don't know, what's that question? Will a 1 year diploma course in accounts, there's a question relating to accounting. So Chintan, there's a student who's asked a question here. I've completed my master's from India. Will a 1 year course in accounting from Canada be counted as points for my PR journey?
Yes, any course that you do in Canada, as long as it's professional, and as you mentioned, accounting, yes, it will count towards your work experience.
Perfect.
The only thing is, you'll get a 1 year work visa after that. So that's the only thing I would just take a look at. If you know absolutely sure that you will get a job, then yeah, absolutely you can go for it. And yes, you will get points for your PR. Yeah, towards your PR.
Perfect. So there's Hyla_Sachin. He's asked CES or IQAS for PR.
Sorry, can you repeat that question again? Sorry.
CES or IQAS for PR.
I would go with I don't know which one. IQAS is I mean, if you are I had a colleague who did IQAS, and it took a long time. It took about 8 weeks for the whole thing to happen, like almost 2 months. So I would go with WES, World Educational Services. I don't know what CES is, but I would go with WES. And if you don't have an option, and if WES is having if you're not able to get it through WES, then I would say IQAS would be a secondary option.
Perfect. So we don't see any more questions coming up. So hopefully we are done for the day. Thank you, Chintan. It's been good talking to you, and I hope you will get many students from here contacting you with the kind of information that you have shared. Looking forward to see you soon. I hope you're coming to India, right?
Hopefully next year. I was planning on coming next month, but
let's see. Then we'll meet up.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Take care, yes. Bye.
Thank you. Have a great day.